This was an amazing and incredible breathtaking trip to the Dolomites and, of course, long-range flying. So cool, but I don't want to do it like this anymore because of this. Don't get me wrong, the drone is good, but the size... I'm probably not long-range guy, so don't take my opinion too seriously. But still, let me explain what I mean. When you travel something like, in my case, the mountains in Italy, you see all of this beauty and of course you want to fly it. That's why you go there. But the best spot often hidden. They're not next to highways and sometimes there are no roads at all, just hiking trails. And this is where the problem starts. You leave your car, pack your FPV backpack, but the drone is outside. It's big, actually huge, 7-inch or even 10. You walk through trails, hit bushes. It's actually a tourist place, so people notice you, and it's heavy. Not even the drone, the batteries. You carry all of this and you start thinking about something smaller, more practical, but still capable of long-range flights. So today, let's try to build exactly that. Let's go, shall we? Let's take a look at the components I choose for this setup. The frame is the foundation of the whole drone. Everything is built around it. And in our case, it's a 5.5-inch FPV airframe. It's very similar to their 5-inch frames, which I already have a lot of. It is a great product, stiff, reliable, easy to tune, very easy to build, everything just fit perfectly. Long story short, when Germans build something, they do it well. Alright, okay, almost always. Motors, pretty simple here. They are thobby in collaboration with ITSFPV, size 2208 1750 kV. They are powerful motors and very high quality. I haven't tried this exact size NKV yet, but I have used similar ones in a different size and they were great. So powerful, but hopefully also efficient for this build. And now let's look at the FC and EAC. It's thobby again. Yeah, I know, kind of a pattern here. So thobby F7 Pro flight controller. If I remember correctly, it supports up to HS, which is pretty cool, isn't it? And the EAC F55A Pro 3 also supports up to 8S and it looks amazing, just look at the thing, absolute monster. Alright, video system in my case, it is DJI O4 Pro. I don't think I need to explain much here. From what I've seen, it's a very long-range capable system and it feels like a perfect fit for this build. Radio link, TBS Crossfire Nano RX Pro, perfect for long range and not only that. Buzzer, WeFly Finder Mini, tiny, self-powered, honestly nothing more to ask for. GPS, well, we kind of need it here. For me it is TBS M10. Never tried it before, but I'm pretty sure it will do the job. Alright, that's pretty much it. Now we can finally start building this drone. Let's go. We start with the frame. Of course, this is our foundation, the base of the whole build. Everything else will go on top of it. It goes together pretty much the same as regular ITSFPV airframe, just with some small differences. And guys, don't forget to enjoy the process, especially with this frame. It's actually really nice to work with. Next step, motors, nothing special here. One thing I do recommend it, use some blue Loctite. Of course blue, it helps prevent the screws from coming loose because of vibration or stuff like that. Oh, and one more thing, there are no wires protection path here, you know, the plastic ones, so I just throw the wires and use some tape to secure them. Next we install the camera into the cage. The VTX system in general, because of the camera cable, needs to run under the stock. And also mount the antenna, means radio antenna on the cage as well. Antenna goes here on the cage, exactly how it's supposed to be. Honestly, I'm just copying the FPV setup. Same idea, almost the same electronics. Well, not exactly, but yeah, nothing special here, just building a drone. This is how it looks, maybe not super convenient antenna located, but better signal in this spot, in this position. Alright, we're moving on to soldering, and first, the power wires. In my case, it's AVG14, which I would definitely recommend it for some kind of setup. We also soldered the capacitor and the XT6 right away, so the AC will be ready to go. And the next logical step will be to solder the motors within the pads and the wires first. I'm not showing every single solder joint here, that would take forever. And guys, this video is more about the idea, the concept, right? Only one thing I'll add, using extra flux can really help if you want cleaner result. And this is how the drone looks at this stage. Now we can connect the FC, we pin everything according to the manual. Yes, this is one of those moments when you actually should check it. And one more thing, even if you trust yourself, it's a good idea to use smoke stopper for very first battery plug-in. Alright, no smoke, that is already a success. So now we can solder the GPS, receiver and the buzzer. Just a quick reminder, TX goes to RX and RX goes to TX, so the opposite. In my case it's pretty simple, one word for receiver, another for the GPS, and the buzzer has its own dedicated pads. So this is how everything looks after soldering, and this is how built with all components and the FC in place. For the GPS we have a TPU mount and the buzzer goes to the back. There are enough space for it, no worries at all. A few more details and the build is coming together. Here's the result! Ta-da! I've installed the action camera, battery, props, about the camera a little bit later. And now, the last step before to move on. Let's check the weight. And as we can see, we have 924.8 grams. Full load. Okay, as you may notice, I weighted the drone with the camera installed. Of course, this makes a little sense if you are using the O4. Basically, they give a very similar result, but I did it for you in case if you are going to use a different system, maybe an analog. So, the weight of the drone without a camera with a 1850 mAh battery is 758.5 grams, but this is not the finishing drone yet. It is just assembled components. Now we need to do some tuning. Alright, moving on to tuning. Of course, we connect the drone to the computer, and in my case, the first thing I do is activate the O4 Unit Pro. And here is just a quick reminder. This is done in DJI Assistant 2 custom drone series. Next step, I do some ESC settings. In my case, that's AM32. And then, of course, we dive into the Betafly work. I go through all the basic stuff, GPS rescue, rates, OSD and stuff like that. But when it comes to pitch tuning, I actually have high expectation for this drone, so I'm not doing it alone. I'm working on this together with someone who really knows what he's doing. So we will see how it goes. And for now, let's move on to the test. So, here it is, the drone is ready, well, almost ready, it flies and it feels good in the air. Not perfect yet, because we are still in the tuning process and there is some kind of noise in the logs. Still working on that. What can I say? Nothing critical, but I can't really ignore it, so yeah. This is not the final result, but honestly, it is already good enough to take it out for proper test flight and see what it can do. So let's go fly. point I was about 100 meters out, and I just knew it's time to turn back. The wind was just too much. So for now, that's it. It is what it is. We came to the mountain to test this drone, but the weather turned out to be insanely windy. At this point it feels less like a test and more like fighting with elements. But what I want to say is I wanted this drone for a long time. This exact concept, this idea, and now I have it. It kind of reminds me of my car, my Cupra. Looks like a practical car, a bit higher, comfortable, but with 310 horsepower it can really show its character. And this drone feels the same. Right size and powerful enough. I just hope this drone will join me my next trip to the Dolomites. So yeah, that's it for now. Thanks for watching.